Okay, here's a quick thought I was thinking about the Mike Tomlin departure. Now that everything is kind of settled and that they're really just beginning to request for some interviews. In my opinion, there's probably about an 80 to 90% chance that this next head coach is a defensive minded head coach. As much as there has been a huge push for offensive minded head coaches over the past couple of years, look at the Steelers' history. Chuck Noll was a defensive line coach and then was hired to be their head coach. Bill Cowher was a defensive backs coach, then defensive coordinator, promoted to be a head coach. Mike Tomlin was a defensive backs coach, defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, then decided to become the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if we're being completely honest, it could be somebody out of absolute nowhere. Like Mike Tomlin, if you think about it, all the way back in, 2007 when he was hired, he was not like a top level candidate for head coach that season, and yet he got hired. Yes, there are obviously going to be the Chris Shulas and the Halfleys of the world who are out there and who are going to be probably top of the list. Brian Flores included, who I'm really vying for to be the next head coach of the Steelers. I think that he would be amazing to continue that no-nonsense type of culture over in Pittsburgh. But I'd also look at a little bit of some dark horse candidates as well. Anthony Weaver from the Dolphins has been getting a lot of attention over the past 2 years for some head coaching gigs. I know that the Chicago Bears interviewed him last year. He's getting a couple of interviews this year. Vance Joseph, while he's not, a dark horse defensive coordinating candidate in this coaching cycle, I do think that people like Shula and Halfley are probably a little bit more desirable, especially with the fact when you consider that Vance Joseph and his defenses have tended to kind of plateau towards the end of the season. What about Matt Burke from the Houston Texans? I understand that DeMeco Ryans leads that defense, but Matt Burke is the defensive coordinator there. Like, he still has a footprint in what has been a fantastic Houston defense, which Pittsburgh just ended up facing not too long ago, a couple of days back. So Matt Burke, that could be interesting. As much as I think he's too old, Steve Spagnuolo could be super interesting to bring in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What I'm trying to say is, obviously focus on all of the big names because we're going to be looking at that. Like, look at the Stefanskis and whatnot, and look at the big-time OCs that are going to be out there. But in my opinion, it is much more likely that this is a DC. And in my opinion, it's going to be somebody who possibly goes under the radar. I could be wrong. It could be a Flores. It could be a Shula. It could be a Halfley. But in my eyes, somebody like a Matt Burke, that might not be out of the question, especially at 49 years old.